Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the Great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're fighting not to have a rapid and scheduled disassembly in your life, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Okay, it doesn't sound good, whatever it is, but tonight we're talking about something good, as always. Talking about the Mountain Loop Highway. You want to do a loop-de-loop on the highway? Maybe this is the place to do it, and maybe not. We'll find out, and I bet the viewers have something to say about it too. We want to hear from you. Chime in as I see this chat scrolling away already. But first, of course, it's time to bring in our loopy lemur. Some say his carpool comes with a lifeguard. And others say he has more ups and downs than a runaway railway. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Runaway railway.
Indeed.
Are you just ad-libbing now? Maybe.
I'll never tell. Runaway railway is a thing. Check it out. Google it. You'll find it.
Isn't it the trains that run away? I'm asking for a friend.
If you ever heard of a runaway railway, go with the chat.
I'm confused by this term. Anyways. Hey, good to be here. Good to see my friends. It is Thursday night. It is podcast night. And before we jump into tonight's topic, which I have some recent familiarity with, I believe. I'm looking forward to talking this through.
What?
I know, right? Believe it or not, I've actually been hitting the Pacific Northwest Washington State Highway system recently. So both literally and figuratively. But anyways, before we get to that, quick reminder that we do appreciate the support of our patrons. We hope to keep this podcast coming each and every week, and a special thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Remember to check out travel.landsharks with a Z.ca. They have a whole bunch of great trips listed under upcoming trips, including a tour to the Brazil Ape Cache, a Panama Canal cruise, a trip to Antarctica, all kinds of amazing land tour through Ireland. There's tons of great trips and amazing adventures coming up there. Just check it out, landsharkz.ca. And hey, if you're signed up for the Mediterranean cruise, I'll see you there.
Oh,
all right. Anyhow, that is one. But the other corporate Denali level sponsor is Gold Country Geotourism. Make sure to check out our friends at exploregoldcountry.com. Check out these beautiful vistas, amazing geocaching adventures on the two geotours. I always do that backwards. I should do it this way. 2 geotours. And download the app to get all the current information about the area and where to stay and eat and shop. And if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, we encourage you to head over and click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
thank you very much. Limax says there's a new runaway railway in Toontown in Disneyland.
Okay.
I've heard of it. Never seen it, but I've heard of it.
There you go.
There you go. Hollywood Studios, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. So apparently they ran away to join the railroad.
I've been educated.
Hey, folks, it's time for the glow. Now, you may ask, what is the glow?
What is the glow?
Love you guys. Thank you. The glow is the geocaching log of the week. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a recording to feedback at cachingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and tell us in your own voice how you glow. Oh, thank you, Dora Moore. What is the glow?
Yeah,
She's
if
one of our
anybody,
most special patrons.
I was going to say, if anybody would know what the glow is, it would be Dora Moore.
It would be.
One would think.
One would think. All right, well, let's see. This week's glow, yeah, it's going to work, was submitted from Moo Girl and Lil Bull. It's for a cache called Worn Out Car, CFG 2015. That's GC5ZWN3. And the log is by H. Erectus and Lucy. One can only assume that's an abbreviation for Homo erectus.
Is it Lucy also one of the ancient humanoids?
They're, both fictional creatures from a created history. Or not. You decide. It doesn't matter what the facts say. Whatever you believe, that's it. The log says, we had the opportunity to visit here again while on our way back from Burnaby. We came around on number 1, so we could do the TCHLC, Transcontinental Hotels Looping Chocolate. I don't know what THC is, but I'll bet you guys do.
Beach Owls, the Adventure Lab series on the Trans-Canada Highway.
Oh, there you go. This is one from Hope to Cache Creek, and we pulled in here to avenge the previous DNFs. Homo erectus, heretofore abbreviated in the log as HE, scrambled down, now armed with intel kindly provided by the cache owner. Sadly, HE's search still came up empty, and he returned to the cache mobile empty-handed. Lucy glared disdainfully at HE and stated she was not moving on until the quest was a success. Back down HE went and made a final desperate attempt, sacrificed life and limb, and if you go to the cache posting, you'll see the photo of said limb, and was able to extract the prize. Yay! The cache was in the most obvious spot, and I had searched there often, but not quite enough. Certainly got my exercise on this one and didn't lose too much blood. Thanks.
That's always a goal of mine, not to lose too much
blood, yeah.
Just the right amount.
Just the right amount. Oh, look at that. Keats 94 knows something about the Teach Owls.
He might know a little bit about Teach Owls, being one of the organizers.
Yeah, Teach Owls, but the THCLC, that confused me.
Yeah, understandably. It did me at first as well, and then I was like, oh, if I think about where this is taking place.
Yeah.
It could be Tri-City Highlight Caches.
It could be.
Also is, yes.
I think it'd be totally chocolate abbreviation. I don't know. Tangy chocolate? No.
Oh.
Seeing as how it's up in the Cache Creek area, yeah, probably tangy chocolate.
Tangy chocolate. Yeah, stay away from the tangy chocolate. That's all I've got to say. Folks, if you want to say something, did you catch that segue? That was a pretty good segue.
Good job.
Yeah. Segui, as one might say.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to say something tonight, use the hashtag loop. Get a little loopy tonight in the chat. I'm just so clever.
See what you did there?
Yeah. You can use that in tonight's chat. Our chat lackey's back at his normal spot behind his computer screen and maybe working. We can't quite tell yet.
Our abnormal chat lackey is back in his normal spot. Is that what you said?
There you go.
Okay.
We love our chat lackey. If you want to bring up something that's not related to the Mountain Loop Highway, we call that For the After Show or FATAS. You can use that for bringing it up in the after show. Of course, we have our favorite hashtag podcast baking and podcast drinking. Tell us what you're cooking and sipping on tonight.
Hey, I'm doing that tonight.
Ooh.
The podcast baking thing.
Yeah.
What?
I think this is the first time I've done podcast baking during our podcast.
Well, you have to go get it.
It's got another hour to bake.
Ooh, man. That's a lot of
So we
baking.
better finish the show on time.
It's been in the oven for 2 hours already, so
Oh my. What on earth are you baking for 3 hours?
I was gifted from my son a recipe he found it online. So homemade beef jerky.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping it comes out well.
Nice. This
Well-
is along the same lines as Stark Casher's bacon baking.
There you go.
Nice.
BC Rock Crawler is drinking Vancouver Island water tonight.
Nice.
Not to be outdone, Limax is drinking Massachusetts tap. I wonder what the year is on that one.
I'm wondering with BC Rock Crawler if he's just stepped outside and looked up and opened his mouth. Because you can drink a lot of water tonight doing that.
Komakino has a Bloody Mary.
Nice.
And Starcasher's favorite mix of half 100 proof vodka and half cherry brandy.
Wow.
So does that
also
50 proof
also
vodka?
known as instant death. Or blindness. Yes. Oh, wow, that's great.
Can I just drink it till I need glasses?
Yeah.
You have glasses.
Oh, well, I gotta stop drinking then. Of course I have glasses. You don't drink straight out of the bottle. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff. All right. We've got some news tonight, folks. The biggest news of this week, and this is pretty big news. And we're going to be reaching out to some of our friends at HQ to have them come on to the show and give us the official word and some discussion on this. But if you're watching the geocaching.com blog, you may have seen this posted very recently. Here at HQ, they say they've been working hard to maintain the original geocaching premium pricing for more than 21 years. I didn't realize the price has not changed since they started having this. And that's impressive to hold the price of a service for 21 years. However, as you can probably guess, we're leading to a but.
I sense a but.
Yes. Despite significant cost increases, they have held that price. They are updating their pricing in order to be able to continue to deliver the high level of service to the global geocaching community while also rewarding current premium members for their ongoing loyalty and support. Now, what could that mean? June 6th, 2023, the prices of premium membership for new subscribers.
Did you catch that? I think that bears repeating.
The prices of premium membership for new subscribers is going to increase to $39.99 US dollars per year or $6.99 US dollars per month for new subscribers. Prices may vary depending on your local currency and taxes, of course. So those of us in Canada will pay whatever our exchange at that time is on that US dollar price. This change will not affect existing premium members as long as your membership doesn't lapse. So there you go. If you'd like to take advantage of the current prices and you're not a premium member yet, you got until June 6th. After June 6th, but you can lock in at
That's right.
like $10 US less per year if you get on the pony right now.
It's like buying 3 years, getting one for free.
There you go.
It kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
And don't forget to use that hashtag CNW discount for the double half rate.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We're there to help you out, folks. All right. Well, if you want more news on that, again, check out the geocaching.com blog. There is an article there with basically what I just read to you, but some links. Peach says Costco has not raised the price of their hot dogs in over 30 years. They probably haven't gotten new ones in over 30 years either, but
That's right. BC Rock Crawler says, I think the charter memberships were $20 US. Still PO'd. I passed on that.
Oh, missed opportunity. Indeed. All right. But still, BC Rock Crawler's locked in at 30 US. So could be worse, right?
That's right. Yeah, don't let your membership lapse.
Yeah.
And, it's still a bargain, really. I did the math. It's like, even if you paid the higher rate, it's like 7 cents a day. So
It's about like $1 per geocache per year for me.
yeah, that's about it for me. Yeah. But it's about, I don't know what, half a cent for landmark. I don't know what it is for landmark.
Pennies on the geocache.
I can't even figure that out.
And
But
Canada doesn't even have pennies.
I have some Canadian pennies still.
Lots of Canadians have lots of Canadian pennies. We don't know what to do with them, so they go into geocaches.
Spend them.
Yeah.
Wrap them up and spend them. Anyway, moving on. There's another news story, and coincidentally, it was contributed from the same people as The Glow. They contributed The Glow and the news story. This came from Moo Girl and Little Bull. It's a news story from the Vancouver Sun about a derelict house in a posh Victoria neighborhood. And there's a neighbor that's concerned about, what neighbors are typically concerned about. Vandalism, teenagers, and geocachers.
You should be concerned about the last one.
Yeah. A neighbor of a once elegant Oak Bay house called for a derelict property bylaw. They said 6 years after the fire ripped through the second and third floors of this once elegant Beach Drive home, the property, it's attracting trespassers. Teenagers break into the property and vandalize the cars, the neighbor said, and he files police reports because he's worried about teenagers getting hurt inside the building. We are the nice watchdogs. We tell people it's private property. Recently, though, he saw someone rummaging under a pile of twigs in the backyard. The person told him they were geocaching, burying treasure on the property. I make no claim about burying treasure and geocaching. Those are not the same thing. Just saying. Yeah.
That's all wrong.
There may be a gap in information there.
That's right. This is just what the story reads in the paper. And it says, so now you have a geocacher who wants to hide something in his backyard so all the geocachers can start traipsing through. Get out of my backyard, in other words.
That's right.
Hey, you cashers, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
That is pretty much exactly how I'm reading this article. No, you geocachers, get off my neighbor's lawn.
That's right.
Exactly. Who doesn't live there anymore. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, yeah, we don't know, right? We weren't there. We don't know what the geocacher may have done. It may be like right at the property line. They were stuffing beside a tree.
It may back up to the woods. I don't know.
We don't know the details here. Of course, the newspaper and the neighbor are going to make it sound as dramatic as possible, and you can see the visualization of non-geocachers reading this article of us geocachers in the dead of night with our balaclavas on and shovels, digging holes right up beside the foundation of the house. Right. So, what do we got? Sorry, Kitty Quest says. That derelict building is just a few miles from me, but I promise that I was not the one hiding that cache. Okay.
Yes, but have you found it already?
Did you get FDF?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious that a fire ripped through the second, third floors of a house 6 years ago, and there are still cars there to vandalize?
You got to read this story. So I don't think I put the link in. I didn't. But if you search the Vancouver Sun for derelict house Victoria online, you will definitely find this article that Mooger and Little Bull sent to me in advance of the podcast here. And I just thought it was funny, right? Because it's, as he said, when he sent it to me, he said, oh, well, there's a reference to geocaches in this article. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then when you read through it, just the way that they depict us is like pretty much the common perception, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so 15, 16 months ago, there was a major fire a couple of blocks from me. And out my bedroom window, I can still see the hulk, the burned out hulk of that house.
Mm-hmm.
It stands there in the rain and in the snow. And so it's there for quite some time. There hasn't been anything into it. So 6 years, I could see that happening.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, it's obviously unfortunate for the family who lost their home.
Yes.
Who knows what their situation is now. And Keats's link isn't to this story. He's sharing a link. It's to another story he mentioned of a bomb squad being called to Greenwood, Nova Scotia due to a pipe bomb shaped geocache. Always one of the best ideas, if you're going to hide a geocache, make sure it's a piece of steel pipe with caps on both ends.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't see any problem with that.
With caps on both ends there.
Yeah.
And the fake fuse, because, that's what the coyote would do.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
Or a little stopwatch glued to
I was going to say, you put an alarm clock by it so people know what time it is in case they're late for the bus to get back to work,
I I see nothing wrong with this plan.
Nah, I can't imagine. Maybe
and
a
of
couple of
course-
highway flares.
You have to put the battery inside that, tube because it'll stay dry in there. And then you can just run the wires out to the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Just Finding Our Way has already Googled this article. He says it's not just any car, Jim.
Okay.
The house damaged by fire in 2017 has been abandoned and has a Rolls Royce on the buckling driveway.
Okay.
Wow.
So there you
I
go.
have a Rolls can hardly. Rolls down one hill, can hardly get up the next. But and okay, so now my final question about this house, because of my knowledge of Victoria geography is like that much. I hear Beach Drive, and the first thing I think of is the webcam cache.
You're not far off. That
Is it close to that area?
that general area.
Okay.
A little further along, but yeah, that general area.
Okay. It's
So
very
not-
windy and
not
rainy
over,
there.
like, towards the Esquimalt, like where the sharks are, not downtown Victoria.
Okay.
Or along that coastline type area there. Yeah.
That webcam is very windy and very rainy. I know that because every time I've been there, it's been that way. Once.
Yeah. The GSF
Wits
feed
end.
says geocaching training bomb squad since May 2000, and followed up by Komikino
Yeah.
tonight on how not to geocache. Very funny, you guys.
Oh, so good. I'm just impressed with Wits End's Vancouver geography.
Vancouver Island. Yeah.
Vancouver Island's geography. There we
I'm
go.
not impressed with yours, Chris.
No, and you should not be.
Wits End is impressive in many ways. We
He's
know
kind of a
this.
Renaissance man.
He is.
But it's a family show, so we can't talk about everything here tonight.
Okay. Well,
Thank
hey,
you so
one thing we
much
do
for
want to
that.
hear about from you, good listeners, live audience for sure. But, even if you're listening to this later and you have thoughts you want to add or questions you want to answer or just feedback, use hashtag FATAS, because once the show ends, it's still the after show until we start the next show. So, tag any of us or the podcast on social media, use hashtag FATAS, and give us your feedback on things such as, how are you doing on the Wheel of Challenges? If you're watching live tonight, let us know. Use the hashtag FATAS. Let us know how your Wheel of Challenges progress is going. I'd love to talk about that.
I'm going to interrupt you, Land Monkey.
Yes.
I don't think you can just say Wheel of Challenges. I think it has to be Wheel of Challenges.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to give it a practice run, or
Yeah,
are we
would
just
you?
okay? Wheel of Challenges. Is that what we're looking for?
Oh, that's much better. That's much better. Yeah.
Sorry about everybody's ears.
Oh, that's okay. I can follow it up with my progress as wah wah. That's it. Now you know my progress. Moving on.
Oh dear.
Apparently, Limax has become a psychic.
Okay.
He's now a medium.
All right. Well, hey, we're cruising on along, reading lots of news, having lots of fun, but we haven't got to our topic for tonight.
No.
And I got to say, when I heard about the Mountain Loop Highway tonight and saw that it was episode 507, the first thing I thought of was, well, certainly this must be Highway 507, right? No. No, State Route 507 is south of Tacoma, heading down towards Centralia through Yalmanal. We're talking about a very different loop highway tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think we're talking more to the north central part of the
Yeah.
state, right? The Loop Highway.
North of us, south of you.
Yeah.
Somewhere between
I'm
us.
putting myself as if I am standing in the center of the state of Washington. Just on the 507, State Route 507. Our recent YouTube episodes around the WSGA Geo Tour features a little bit in Centralia, where we stopped there and found a couple of caches on our route. So pretty area, really. I had never been to Centralia. Maybe I had, but I don't think we'd ever really stopped there. And so we spent a morning in Centralia and enjoyed the adventure lab there, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Peach of Washington's
Could be, yeah.
adventure lab. And just a really neat little town. So there you
Nice.
Yeah. Centralia and Chehalis are Washington's twin cities.
go. Were they born on the same day?
I don't know.
Similar.
Maybe
They
just
look exactly the
I
same.
lived down there for a few months.
before and after midnight, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I visited him when he lived down there.
Mhm.
We played kooshball in the parking lot,
Nice.
As one does.
as one does.
All right. Well,
But we're not
you have
talking
something you
about
want
that.
to talk about, Chris.
North and slightly east of Puget Sound, a narrow highway lined with towering evergreen trees winds along the crashing, glacier-fed Stillaguamish River. This is the Mountain Loop Highway, where rugged trails lead to brisk mountain lakes and peaks soaring to more than 6,000 feet. That's like 8 million kilometers.
Leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty Stillaguamish River.
That's right.
You could spend days here hiking or simply sitting riverside and soaking in the gorgeous scenery. And thanks to the businesses and the small towns dotting this valley, you can enjoy good food and a warm bed close by after a long day's hike.
When did you form the marketing committee for the?
That's exactly what it sounds like, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
If I know him, he asked ChatGPT what the Mountain Loop Highway was, and that's what it came up with.
Yeah, you know me too well.
It's getting easier and easier to write the show notes, but more predictable.
No, actually, I stole it off a webpage. I'll admit it.
Okay, well, now we've talked
They
about
got
it. Anything else we want to talk about tonight?
No, that's it.
We're done.
Was it. It's not Highway 507,
Okay.
so I think we're good. Even though it's episode 507.
Yeah.
I guess we should have talked about Centralia.
Yeah. Oh well, that's all right.
Well, we mentioned it. We're done.
Okay.
We're done.
In 2 episodes, Highway 509, that leads to the airport. So we'll have to talk about
Okay.
air travel.
Sure.
That's a bit of a stretch, but we could do that. Yeah, that makes sense. But hey, let's talk about some interesting things to see and experience along the Mountain Loop Highway. And one of them is one of my favorite places. I think I've only been there once, maybe twice, but I am looking forward to going back and checking it out again because it's just such a cool spot. That's the Big Four Ice Caves. Folks, if you have not visited the Big Four Ice Caves in the Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest near Granite Falls, I put it on your list. Put it on your bucket list. Google it. Check it out. The pictures are going to be mind-blowing. It is super cool. It is a stunning natural wonder, to quote Chris and his marketing speak here.
Thank you very much.
Towering ice formations, crystal clear pools of water. It's a 2.2 mile round trip, so I think that's 1,000 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not. It's like 5 kilometer round trip hike, but it's generally a pretty level hike, as if I recall. There's not a lot of incline there. It says suitable for all skill levels, so there you go. It was a very, very easy path. They claim wildlife viewing. I didn't see much wildlife when I was there. Birds, but
Other hikers.
lots of other hikers.
Yeah.
It is a popular destination. So I would say that you really want to time your visit appropriately. Do a little bit of research. They also claim, and I think this is a fair claim, from a photography or videography perspective, the ice caves provide a stunning backdrop to capture the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. They absolutely do. They're fascinating to see.
Yeah. I understand the best time to visit there is the summertime because it's a little more accessible. But as you know, anytime you go there, check the weather, because in the super hot weather, I've heard of ice breaking off and crashing down and causing injuries and problems. So
All year round. That's You're never supposed to go into these ice caves.
Some monkeys have gone and told the tale, but your mileage may vary. We cannot condone such activity on the podcast, but I do hear that they're quite beautiful. I have not been there. I would love to go someday and check it out. But as with many places, do your research, check local conditions, try to go on a Tuesday morning when everybody's in school and it's quiet there or something. And, of course, leave a trip plan.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Absolutely.
Now, I've said you should never go inside. Visitors as you go there, cachers, hikers, take some safety precautions when
Yeah.
visiting the ice caves. The ice formations can be unstable, and you should stay away from the cave entrances. And most of all, avoid climbing on the ice. I know it's going to be a cool picture if you get up there, right? But that's where the ice is the weakest, and it's a long way down. And if I'm not mistaken, there's sharp rocks below.
Bring it on.
Likely.
Even if they're not sharp, there's rocks when you fall onto them. So yeah, probably not the best idea.
I added the sharp. I figured, sharp rocks below.
And dragons with big teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
What, behind that rabbit?
That's right.
So stay on the trails. Don't go in the ice caves because you've got ice and rocks that will fall. So, and watch out for sudden weather changes. You are in the mountains, right?
It could happen.
Not far from the same area.
Oh, did we mention there was an earth cache there?
No, we didn't. We
Oh,
completely overlooked that fact, which is the earth cache is kind of what drew me there in the first place. Like,
No.
earth cache. Well, this is the thing. I mean, we've talked about this many times, but you're looking at the geocaching map and you go either virtual or earth cache, and the first thought is, well, there must be something interesting there, right? That's my first thought. And then my second thought is, ooh, another earth cache. So, but yeah, there is an earth cache there. Is it an earth cache or virtual? I can't remember. I haven't looked at it for a while.
Earth cache.
Oith cache? Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, Oith.
Oith cache. Also nearby is, and a few of our listeners have been to this place, some of them with us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them without us, Komakino.
Yeah. when Chris arranged a group hike, that was very fun. Monte Cristo, the ghost town in the Cascade Mountains. Also,
And look at what Komakino put.
look
he
at
knew
that.
it was coming.
He
Have
knew
you been reading the show notes?
again. But yeah, near Granite Falls, Washington. So I guess the secret here is find Granite Falls on Google Maps.
Yeah.
and
And go
now
looking
you
for the
kind
caches
of got a
around.
sense of where to go. But yeah, Monte Cristo is a really fun hike, and a really neat destination to go there. Of course, yes, there's geocaches and such to find.
Lots.
Sorry?
Lots.
Lots, yes. And it is a ghost town, which is always kind of cool. I think one of the things, and we've got a few notes to read through about this, but one of the things I love the most about that ghost town was the turntable, the rail turntable,
Mm-hmm.
that the bunch of us went and played with some of our listeners, and we gave it a spin, which was pretty cool.
It still moves, yeah.
Still moves. But yeah, Monte Cristo is a mining town, was founded in the late 1800s, experienced a boom during the early 1900s, not like a boom that blew it up, but like
not like a geocache shaped like a pipe bomb. Boom.
Yeah.
No, that's different.
The town is still full of some historical buildings and artifacts, like the rail turntable, that provide a very unique glimpse into the past. The hike, as we described, is a beautiful one, passing through the old growth forest. You do need to cross a stream at least once without a bridge, so you got to plan for that one. I think there's a big old log still there.
Yeah, there's a big tree across it.
Yeah. Stunning views of the mountains, etc., of course. Did one of you guys, Jim, did you want to pick it up from there?
The hike is a challenging one, so just be aware of that. It can take you all day to get up there and back. It's about 8 miles. It says total distance. I can't remember if that's round trip or one way. But it's up there ways. It's not just pop in, take a few pictures, and run back to your car within 10 minutes. You're going to commit some time to it, but it's rewarding. The reward of reaching it, it's well worth the effort. And we hiked all the way up there and found a Jeep sitting there. So I guess there's a way to drive there, but I don't know.
Not sure how they got it. I think there's a different road that can kind of wind in from somewhere.
It's either that or somebody said that there was a caretaker or somebody that had special privileges to get in there. So I would hike up there. It's a nice hike.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worth it.
Yeah, you do have to cross that river on a log. You do have some former riverbeds or just dry riverbeds that are very big, softball-sized rocks that be careful you don't roll your ankle on, kind of thing, But It's not that hard. I think Team Noltex tried to go up there on mountain bikes, and they said they wound up pushing, carrying, dragging mountain bikes for quite a ways during that. So it's not necessarily conducive to biking up there, but it's a great hiking trail. Get up there and enjoy it. And there is a lot more wildlife, perhaps, than the ice caves. There's has been sightings of black bears, cougars, and elk. So.
Nice. Komakino says there is a back way in. The mayor of Monte Cristo used to get there and back.
There's always a back way
with her Jeep.
I wonder if there was air quotes around the word mayor. I'm wondering if it's a self-declared mayor.
Well, I mean,
and is she a ghost?
Who's there to vote?
I don't know. But as with any hike of that kind of thing, you should bring, plenty of water, plenty of food, appropriate hiking gear. Mm-hmm. There's the catch-all term that covers all things. If you went there, needed something you didn't have, it's because you didn't bring the appropriate hiking gear. So that's on you.
Adventure safe.
Don't come back to the podcast and say we didn't tell you.
That's right. Even though you're hiking to a town, there's nothing there to.
That's right.
There's no gift shop.
The stores have been closed for about 100 years.
Yeah. I mean, a snack stand up there would be tremendous, but
Yeah, and who's going to open it?
Yeah, I know. Who's going to run it, Chris? No. And just like the ice caves we talked about, the weather can be unpredictable and change rapidly. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean,
be prepared.
That rule should basically apply for the entire Pacific Northwest.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in the mountains and the weather will change rapidly. Even when you're not technically in the mountains, the weather will change rapidly. Welcome to the Northwest.
Komakino says safety gear and a med kit too.
Yes.
We had a bad accident on our second hike there. So
we had a bad experience.
So if you have a first aid kit, check it. You're going to need more than what you think you have in there.
Yes.
That's, I'll just say for the last 2 Christmases, I've been asking for first aid. For last year was give me a bag. And the first year is give me a lot of the first aid stuff. And I realized it couldn't fit all into what I had. So I needed a bag. So now I think I have a well-equipped first aid kit. But you know what? Spend some time and go through it. The things in there expire.
And yeah, it should be an annual exercise you can do. Is like every January, February, like when you're not maybe hiking a lot, is a great time to just go through your first aid kit. But I mean, it's starting to sound like a different episode.
Well, I think an injury on the Monte Cristo hike inspired an episode of this podcast, actually.
Yes,
it did. You're right. Yes. So, good point.
Yeah. And, the best way to know if your first aid kit is adequate is to just grab it with no other preparations and run out on a random trail willy-nilly. And you will, no, don't do that.
It's funny you mentioned that. Now that I'm remembering, we had a couple of injuries, different kinds of injuries on that hike.
Yeah.
We had some wasp stings. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
And then because we accidentally kicked up a in the dirt in the middle of the trail wasp nest.
Mud wasp.
Why would they build a nest there? That's not very bright.
Very poor planning.
Yes.
And then the more serious injury, one of the hikers had a tumble on the softball size and shaped rocks in the creek bed and broke a finger.
Yeah.
So that was the accident that inspired the podcast episode.
Yeah.
Around how to pack a first aid kit. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. GSM Times 2 says, oh boy, this sounds like fun. Hike and get injured.
Well, I don't know. We had an injury. Komokino had an injury on his hike. So
I'm just saying.
Life happens, life happens.
Iham says, was not fun.
No, I think it was it Dan and I who got stung? I
believe so. Yeah.
I can't remember if B Pendragon got stung as well. He was there.
Well, I just remember we had, 15 hikers with us. And with all of those first aid kits, we had what we needed.
Yeah.
No first aid kit had everything.
Yeah.
Right. But between all of them, we had what we needed, and a doctor.
And a nurse. Unfortunately, the nurse was the one who broke her finger. but she's a nurse. I'm trying to remember, is she a nurse or a doctor? I don't want to.
She was a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haven't seen her for a while.
No, she hasn't gone out hiking ever again.
Yeah. She avoids us now.
That's it.
Maybe it was just
curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's not
Anyways,
hiking. Maybe it's just us.
Right,
probably.
the wrap up Monte Cristo for us, Chris.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us about it?
Once you get there, you can explore some of the historic buildings of the ghost town. Some of them have a plaque in front of them letting you know that, hey, you see these bricks on the ground? This used to be this type of building, right? Because you look at it and you go, well, that didn't look very big. Oh, no, that was the hotel, or this was, so-and-so's house.
Yeah.
Some of them have been preserved quite well, and others are just the foundations. So some notable buildings are the hotel, the train depot, the railroad turntable, and the town's old jail. There's a couple of barns. There's a very nice little picnic spot once you, you're hiking and the trail's quite windy, going uphill a little bit, and then you hit this plateau and, oh, this must be the town.
Plateau. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Definitely a great destination. But I think to the point that Komakino is making, that we're making, it's a hike that, like any hike in the Pacific Northwest, of any significant difference, a day hike, a full day hike, there is the probability that something can go wrong. So we're just saying, be adventure smart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. Iham says, quite honestly, the views at the end was worth getting a wasp sting.
I agree. However, I would not normally use that as like my entrance fee.
That's right.
View, so, yeah.
That doesn't go in the visitor.
No. and I see that Team Noltex is watching tonight. He said Mrs. Team Noltex will not be returning to Monte Cristo with a bike. So I thought I remembered that story accurately. And yeah.
That's funny. Oh God.
I seem to remember the consternation of going over the fallen tree with a bike and yourself and trying to balance and move, and
that would be tricky.
Yeah.
Bikes are great. There's a lot of great biking trails. The hike to Monte Cristo is not one of them.
Not one of them, no.
I mean, unless you make friends with the mayor and take that road in, maybe. I don't know. Can't speak for that route. Don't know.
And maybe you need to be a medium to make friends with the mayor of the ghost town.
It's quite possible.
How's that for a deep cut?
A short psychic on the run from the law. A small medium at large.
Nicely played.
All right. So continuing on the Mountain Loop Highway, and Monte Cristo is a great stop on that highway, so it's good we spent time on that. But other things on the Mountain Loop Highway, and this one is actually visible from I-5, Mount Pilchuck State Park. Why, don't you know it's 1,893 acres of hiking delight?
Oh.
I know that because it says so right here in the show notes.
I mean, when you say hiking delight.
Oh, it's hiking delight.
Okay.
It's not hiking to heavy. That's me.
Okay.
The park includes subalpine lakes such as Bathtub Lake, Summit Lake, Pinnacle Lake, and many mountain trails. I'll bet there are even trails there that a mountain bike would be fantastic for.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah. One of the trails ends at a fire lookout.
Ooh, I love fire lookouts.
Fire, look
I do
out.
too. Yeah.
Oh, wait, not that.
It's a
different context there.
It's only an hour and a half drive from Seattle. So it is very popular with the weekend crowds. It gets about 30,000 visitors annually. And that old fire lookout is the number one draw for people to go up there. It was constructed in 1918 by the U.S. Forest Service, and it was in service until the 1960s. It's on the National Historic Building Register and was restored by the Everett Mountaineers in 1977. It's now a museum, and historical pictures on display of the trail and lookout construction with maps help you name the surrounding peaks. So, being that it's so close to Seattle, I would say, like I joked about with the ice caves, go on a Tuesday morning when school is in session.
Not on the same Tuesday morning you're going to hike Monte Cristo, because that's a full day hike. You're going to need extra time here. Maybe you could stay in one of the cozy hotels in the small towns nearby.
Ooh, like a cozy cone, even.
Make a weekend of this, or a week of this whole adventure. There you go.
It's a great area.
Now, in addition to the lookout during the late 50s, I thought this was interesting. Through the early 70s, there was a ski area on this mountain. The Mount Pilchuck, the Mount Pilchuck Ski Club started in the area with one rope tow, but by the time it had stopped operating, there were 3 tows, like a sloth.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, different. There were 3 tows, 2 chairs, a lodge, and a rental shop.
And the piggy we stole from the shed.
Yeah.
And 2 turntables and a microphone.
That's right.
Waka, waka, waka. Snowfall was inconsistent from year to year, much like it is here in Tacoma, or BC, or, everywhere.
Anywhere in the world. Yeah.
And eventually this led to the U.S. Forest Service not renewing the permit for the operation of the ski area. In 1979, the lifts were closed and the equipment was moved to Crystal Mountain. And that's still open there today.
Well, the trail up Mount Pilchuck is accessible for most of the year if you're so inclined. But be aware that during the winter months, there's snow on the trail. I mean, you're at a higher elevation. Even though we said it's inconsistent snow, there will be some snow and ice.
It's not there all the time. It's just there when you want to hike.
That's right. So be prepared for winter conditions. The summer route up to the lookout, the fire lookout, is 3 miles. I think we had some discussion about how many kilometers that is earlier, about 5, with an elevation gain of 2,166 feet, which...
That's 660 meters, by the way.
I was going to say, it's a fair bit, but it's not that much. Yeah, no. It's not bad. And over, is that 3 miles return or 3 miles one way? Doesn't say. I guess one way, because they're saying the route to the lookout is 3 miles. So 2,000 foot elevation gain over 3 miles. That's not bad, assuming that it's not like all in the last 100 feet.
Well, let me tell you about somebody who's hiked this before. So Peach says the trail up the lookout was one of the state park geocaches. You cannot ride a bike up that steep trail full of roots and rocks, barely wide enough for 2 people to pass at times.
Okay. So that sounds like our North Shore mountain trails. Roots and rocks, I like to say.
Yeah. It might be good for a horse, but not a bike. I just mentioned that there are probably trails within Mount Pilchuck State Park that are bike friendly.
Right. Good point.
Just not that one.
Oh, the others.
The others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, now in my head, I just got roots and rocks and roots and rocks and roots and rocks and roots and rocks. Okay. Which is my mantra when I'm going
2 turntables and a mic?
Vancouver. Sorry?
Is that your 2 turntables and a mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, exactly what that is. That's how I just keep myself motivated and moving when I'm going up those steep North Shore trails, just going roots and rocks and roots and rocks and roots and rocks.
They're like little built-in steps.
They are. Of uneven and slippery.
Yeah.
They're the best steps ever.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They get you to practice your first aid.
That's right. Have good hiking boots. Something that gives good ankle support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But,
this is sounding like another show.
Yeah. Chris, I just want to say, we've run through most of the stuff here for this route, but thank you for pulling these together. I think we've highlighted 3 very unique and cool things to check out on the Mountain Loop Highway. So I think, again, if folks are like, Mountain Loop Highway, where is that? Just Google Granite Falls on Google Maps. That'll put you in the right starting area, and you'll be able to see where all of this is. And it is even if you just want to drive and pick up the occasional geocache and just drive it, and you don't I don't want to do these hikes. It's still a beautiful drive.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go out and explore the Northwest. You'll find spots that are worth it.
You will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chris promises you. He
yes.
commits to this.
I, for one, promise, and So,
This message is endorsed by Caching in the Northwest.
If you're going to go do Monte Cristo, definitely do a trip plan. Definitely go with other people.
Yeah.
Make it a hike. Komakino goes regularly. I don't know if it's every year, every other year, but he does a hike out there. Get with him. Just start watching the cache page and you'll see, hey, we're planning a hike for such and such time.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely good to go with a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the nearby McDonald's, the McChevron station there. Interrupt the older gentlemen in their morning coffee. You're going out there. Why would you want to go out there? So
there you go. Komakino says he's already contemplating a hike to Monte Cristo for this year. There you go. Safety in numbers. Indeed.
Exactly. So yeah, if you want to go out to Monte Cristo this year, sorry, I already forgot the name. I was moving on. Go with Komakino. Maybe we'll come along just for the good old times.
Maybe. We'll see.
Pack a sandwich.
Yeah,
Or
definitely
two.
pack a sandwich.
And a lot of water.
Yeah.
I have to admit, that was the first time I ran out of water on a hike.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I could see the car and I'm like, yeah, I need some water now.
All right. Well, did we cover everything up there, Chris?
I think so, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mountain Loop Highway
on Caching in the Northwest. Indeed. And of course, as we always do, as we're wrapping things up, we want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our two corporate Denali level sponsors. Remember that landsharkz.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online, and they are shipping those online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures and two, count them, two geotours, visit exploregoldcountry.com. And we want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly, the geocaching app. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here show, head on over to our website. Check that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com a website.
Like JCar did.
And MC3 Cats.
And CRS 98.
And Kev MacD.
About you, Dak.
And BC Rockcrawler.
Winos, Seattle.
Team Noltex not taking their bikes back up to Monte Cristo.
GSM ×2.
Segehove.
B Pendragon.
Just Carlo.
Rar 285.
Alarobrick.
Ari 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Geo Nav Pro.
Kid Vegas 19.
Subway Merc.
Peach of Washington.
Seebeck Tribe.
Trexer.
LG 9000.
Terrible Lunch Great Cashier Gas Station Tuna.
And for all you spilly drinkers, it's Wet Coaster.
The Camp Clan.
Green Words.
Kitty Quest.
He's already gone to sleep, so we should be quiet for him as well. Limax.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Geocaches.
Logwork.
Antaeus.
Dora Moore.
Flagman.
Just finding our way.
Broncos fan. For life.
Genies.
Korsgat.
Actor Duck.
Boomer 365.
You Talks to Rocks.
And last but by no means least, Skyhawker.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, click on the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. Now, if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and so much more. Subscribe and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You could thanks for the mouthing of words there, Land Monkey. That does help.
It doesn't help when I mock you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. I'll keep doing it then.
Okay. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or help us with that gas money so we can get on the freeway of love, any time of the day or night. Awkward in here. Of course, you can just email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show's produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwoods, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. The show's licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0, license copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
the after show. You know, Land Monkey was going to mock you anyway, whether you gave him permission or not.
Yeah.
But it's so much nicer when I have permission.
Let's see if we have some FATAS.
Do we have some?
We do. This one from UDAC. With the increased cost of premium membership, would you consider hiding less premium membership caches?
That's interesting. I don't think it would affect that. I tend to mostly hide premium membership caches, especially if it's a puzzle or a cache that I put a lot of attention and time into the container.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll make it a premium. And generally, it's just because I want it to be found by people who are a little more serious about the game. And with puzzles, I hide them because I just think it's simpler for people who are new to the game and don't necessarily understand what a puzzle is. So I don't want to be getting the messages like, well, I went to where you said the coordinates were and there's nothing here. Needs archive.
It's in the middle of the freeway. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's right.
I put it in the middle of the lake. I dove down. There was nothing there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear. What else have we got?
Let's see. Seabeck Tribe, or Seabiscuit, as I found out she's also known as. I got done last weekend while in Issaquah, Snoqualmie area attending an event in Cito, plus some ALs and caches, and I know she's talking about the Wheel of Challenges.
Gotcha. All right. Anybody else have Wheel of...
Yes, here's an interesting one.
Okay.
You, Dak. Yes, you, Dak. Someone on Facebook suggested that headquarters also charge for the Adventure Lab app. What do you think about this? Well, somebody seems to have a thumbs down.
Yeah. I'm not sure why they would do that. I don't know what the argument would be in support of doing that.
There was there was something else involved with that, and I don't remember what it was.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there.
Here's an interesting FATAS from Keith.
Okay.
13 years ago today, I found my first geocache, just before Big Blue Switch Day.
Happy Geoversary, Keats.
That's right.
That's awesome. Congratulations. 13 years. Wow. So he's been caching since he was 6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Doramore says, I've been working on a different challenge, so I'm targeting specific caches rather than going for high numbers this month.
So this is interesting because this raises the whole challenge with the Wheel of Challenges, in that depending on what challenge they come up with, and a lot of people are concerned that at one of these months they're going to roll streak, and you need to have a, who knows, like a
30-day streak.
A 2-day streak for easy, a 5-day streak for medium, but a 30-day streak for the third souvenir. And again, there's no law that says everybody has to earn all the souvenirs, but dang it, we all want them. So it's going to be, I'm just wondering if that's going to be one of the things that rolls up, and that might be challenging for people.
Thus,
if you're traveling,
challenge.
It is. But I know a few people who are a little concerned that one might come up. So I don't know. We'll see.
I like the 1 month time frame rather than the 2 or 3 or year round challenges they've had. And I realize, it's COVID. Nothing is right during COVID, right? Everything during COVID was wrong. So challenges had to be extended in that. And I'm kind of glad there's this artificial time frame again.
Yep.
Or this imposed time frame.
Yep. Yep. For sure. I would agree with you.
Go ahead. Monkey.
Carlo is calling out the Fraser Valley Cache Bash here. So, folks, if you haven't heard about that, it's an annual event we have happening up here in the home of Geo Woodstock 18 in the Fraser Valley. We do a little fun thing to renew the game board, keep things fresh. And Just Carlo is putting the finishing touches on a couple of hides for the Fraser Valley Cache Bash and hoping to meet the deadline. Well, thank you very much. I know Just Carlo participated last year as well and hit some fun caches. So I encourage people to check that out if you're thinking of coming up this way and want to find some fun quality caches. Generally, Fraser Valley Cache Bash caches go out and they're pretty good stuff.
What's the date of launch for that?
Chat Lackey. That's on you, man. I can
FVCB.
Chat Lackey doesn't remember either. All right. Chat Lackey only founded this.
I'm sorry I brought this up. Let's move on to something that might be easier. Back to Adventure Labs.
Yes.
Kitty Quest says, I think the ALs are too tied to regular caching to charge a separate fee.
Yeah.
To which GSM times 2's geocaching headquarters is using AL's Adventure Labs as an entry drug into geocaching, so they won't charge for it, in his humble opinion.
We call it gateway caching.
Yes.
That's funny. Good point, though. Yeah.
Geocaching is free, says GeoNav Pro.
Indeed. There you go. Fraser Valley Cache Bash publication day. So the new caches all released Saturday, May 6th in the morning. So coming
That's
up fast.
Exactly what I was going to say.
It was it? Oh,
yeah.
Way to go, Chris.
Once I read it.
With the cache submission deadline of April 22nd, which would be in 2 days.
Yeah, I was going to say that's Saturday. Yeah.
That's all right. We've got hopefully lots of people are going to be hiding them. And that's the submission deadline for the release date of May 6th. Often we've had caches that get released later throughout the year for the Cache Bash, or maybe not throughout the year, but throughout the May, June timeframe.
GeoNav Pro's 10-year anniversary, or cache anniversary, as we like to say.
You assume he's using decimal, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Could be 16-year in hex. You never know.
That's true. Okay, let's just move on to something else. GSM times 2 says, I'm glad they've put out a challenge that is challenging me this month. At least I have to think about it.
Yep.
You're not going to get it in your normal caching for most people.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? 100 fines?
Mm-hmm.
Was that to get the top prize? Yeah.
Right.
So we got it on our road trip to work on the WSGA series because 5 days on the road, you're going to find quite a few caches and Adventure Labs. And yeah, I agree. I think it's good to make them somewhat challenging. Otherwise, kind of what's the point? I like the easy prize, like where they set the bar pretty low for everybody should be able to achieve the first souvenir. And I like the fact that the hard souvenir is a stretch goal to get to it. I think the medium one still needs some thought. And I think, and this is unofficial, not endorsed. This thought is not endorsed by Brian Roth, but I think the reason that the medium was such a low number was because it's the medium or the median number of monthly fines of all geocachers. So because there's so many geocachers who don't find a lot of caches on a monthly basis, that number seems on the lower side of the spectrum. Like, I think most people were like, well, why wouldn't it be like 25 or 30?
50, right?
Right. Yeah. Like kind of move it more towards the middle. But I think it was based on the statistics of the spectrum of geocachers who play the game. That's my guess.
I'm going to need some help with this next one. Doramore says this is the 7th year anniversary of the Safety Weasel.
Hooray for the Safety Weasel.
Yes, I'm not privy to that story, but I had a very similar story where we were in Mexico and at a camp with a bunch of high school kids, and the host in his thick accent talked about to get the kids' attention, sometimes you need to blow a weasel. So we talked about blowing a weasel all week long.
Wow, we just changed the rating of this show.
What? It's like a police whistle? Yeah.
Of course it is. Never
Yes.
mind. I'll just.
A weasel for someone needing help. I was
Yes.
asked if I had one by someone doing a survey in an emergency on emergency preparation. He had a heavy accent.
Oh, there you go. Maybe it was the same person.
Yeah, could be.
It probably was the same person, I would imagine. Too funny.
Wow. Too much.
What else do we got?
GSM times 2 gets 100 fines in 28 days. So that's just about a month.
There you go.
I average about 100 fines a year, so I won't be getting that challenge.
Yeah. Well, all depends how driven you are to go for the souvenirs, right? Everybody
Well,
has different.
Considering that I didn't know what the souvenirs were until the after show, I guess I'm not that driven.
Starcasher says, I could not watch last week's show live, and I was putting the final touches on my planned trip to Flint, Michigan, Friday evening and all day Saturday to attend the MOGA event there.
Ah.
There you go. Don't drink the water.
That's the first thing I was going to say, bring your own bottled water.
Hey, Starcasher. So has that already happened? MOGA hasn't happened yet, has it?
My planned trip to Flint, Michigan, Friday evening.
Oh, okay.
Last week.
Okay, so MOGA's already happened. Okay.
I thought I saw something on social media about it, but yeah.
Send in a little report, Starcasher, of
A glow.
either written or audio.
53693 TFTC.
Give us a call. Tell us about your adventures. We'd love to hear from you.
You know, if you're uncomfortable, you can call in 3, 4, 5 times to whatever till you think that's a good one. I like that one. That's okay. I won't play the others. I'll just laugh at you behind your back.
Or
Wait,
to your
no.
face when I see you next.
Yes, MOGA was last weekend.
There you go.
In case you needed to know, Keith's big pink rabbit made it to MOGA.
Excellent.
know.
Congrats, Keats.
Were any weasels harmed in the making of this podcast?
Not at all.
Somehow, podcast drinking and safety weasels don't mix.
No. That's why you need safety weasels.
Mm-hmm. Folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember to keep your safety weasel with you at all times. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.